Hello, and thank you for choosing Danomics. In our previous videos in this tutorial series, we showed you how to load your production and well header data, create a new decline curve analysis and forecast project, set the global constraints on your project for how the wells are auto forecast. We then showed you how to make multi-well type curves and apply those to your well forecast, as well as making individual well by well overrides to manually dial in your results. Once you've gone through and you've QC'd your production forecast, you'll then be ready to make some summaries and to export the results. So let's take a look at some of these options. So within your decline curve analysis project, you may wish to create a fluid summary. The first time you come in and do this, you'll see that it says not yet run at the top of the fluid summary tab. And here we can just hit the little refresh icon, and this will start a new summary job that will initialize and run. This will also generate a summary table that we can use to further QC our results. This process for a few hundred wells should take less than a minute in most cases. While this is running, we're going to look at some of the other ways that we can export your data. We have a quick export that allows you to get out your decline curve parameters, where you can quickly just go File and say Download Decline Curves. And this will provide you with an Excel spreadsheet of all your decline curve parameters that you can then take to other softwares or platforms to use as needed. Okay, what we'll see is that, like I said, it only takes a few seconds, and now we have, in this case, a rolled up production summary that shows our historical plus forecast production data for the set of wells that we have displayed here. And it shows both our EUR, our produced, and our remaining oil and gas here. Okay, we also have our summary production table. This table tells us our fluid, our QI, our DI, and our B factor. What I often find useful is that we can add filters here. For example, let's say I want to filter by our fluid to be oil. I can click Add, and now I'm filtered down to oil only, and I can sort by clicking on the columns. Let's say, for example, I want to sort by DI or B factor. I can do so here. Furthermore, by clicking on the API number, it filters me to that well. So then we can see our production history. And in this case, we may need to update this. So here we can update to a different start date for our fluids. And we can now update this by clicking on the refresh icon. This time, it won't have to update for all of our wells. It'll only have to perform the update for the wells that we have made a change on. Okay, and that'll update both the table and the fluid summary view. Okay, now what if we want to get our data out in other formats? We have a special set of tools available just for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand out my files area, and I'm going to create a new file here. I'm going to right click on my folder, and I'm going to say New Flow, and I'm going to call this Welcome Project DCA Export. All right, now that I have that, I see that it creates this new blank window. Flows are a batch processing system that allows us to do all sorts of operations on our data and to utilize our interpretations. So here, I'm going to use it to get out additional data in the format that I want. So I'm going to start off by saying New. I'm going to choose Points Input. And here, I'm going to select my Welcome Project production database. Next, I'm going to choose my DCA Calc. This allows us to access our decline curve analysis project. Here, what I need to choose is my file, so my welcome project.dca, and my well headers, my welcome project.wdb. We can choose what fluids we want to interpret. Oil, gas, and water are selected by default, and then we can choose the output mode. There are 4 output modes. There's per well, fluid, and segment, which will give us the decline curve parameters, QI, DI, and B factor, as well as the start date. There's per well, fluid, month, which will give us the produced monthly production volumes, as well as the remaining monthly production volumes. This is how you would get out the entire forecast. If you want to get out the summary economics, you can do that by looking at the per well outputs. And if you want to get some of the basic statistics, such as the cum, remaining, and EUR, we can get that by the per well fluid summary. In this case, I'm going to export my monthly production volume. So I'm going to select per well fluid month. And then finally, I'm going to end this with a points output. And all we have to do here is give it a name. We can then click the Run button, which is the small right-facing triangle just to the right of the search box at the top here. Once we do this, it will kick off a new job here in our jobs window. And once again, this should only take a few seconds to run. Okay, now that the job has initialized, we see that it is finished. We'll also notice that over in our Files area, we have a new points data set. This is what came out of our flow. If I click on this data set, what I will see is that for each well, I will get our API number, whether or not it's produced or remaining. I'll get a value that corresponds to the monthly production volumes, and I'll get this for each fluid, oil, gas, and water. To get this data out of Danomics, all we have to do is right-click and say download, and then say OK, and this will download a comma-separated file that you can then take to other projects and work with. All right, so hopefully this was of interest to you. If you would like to learn more, please contact us at sales@danomics.com. And if you need help with anything that you've seen in this tutorial series, you can always contact us at support@danomics.com. Thank you.